Rome is one of those cities that can fool you. You fly in, you hit the Colosseum, you throw a coin in the Trevi Fountain, you wait in the Vatican line, and you think, I've seen Rome. But here's what most first-timers don't realize until it's too late. The city you just photographed is the surface. There's another Rome underneath it, quieter, older, less crowded, and in most cases, completely free. In this video, we're taking you to that Rome. And we'll start with this. There is a viewpoint in this city that gives you the single best sightline of the Colosseum, framed against the skyline, the Forum spreading out below it, and it costs nothing to get up there. Most people walk right past the entrance without even considering it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where it is. About 2 miles from the Trevi Fountain, between the Capitoline Hill and the Tiber River, there's a stretch of ancient Rome that most tour buses roll past without stopping. This is the Area Sacra, the sacred area, and it holds some of the oldest ruins in the city. The round structure with the columns is the Temple of Hercules Victor. 20 columns still standing. Built around the 2nd century BC, which means it was already ancient by the time Julius Caesar was alive. It was once considered so sacred that, according to historical accounts, dogs and flies couldn't enter the precinct. Today, you can walk right up to it. Next to it is what Romans informally call the Roman lasagna. At the base, an ancient Roman theater, one of the most important in the city at its peak. Built on top of that, a structure added centuries later. And then, sometime in the Renaissance, a wealthy Italian family decided that was a perfectly good foundation for a luxury residence. Today, people actually live there. Most visitors to Rome see this through a bus window for about 15 seconds. Give it 30 minutes on foot. It will rearrange how you think about this city. At one time, and I don't know if they still do it, I thought he was smoking a cigarette, but actually it looks like it's made to shoot water out of the mouth into this little vase or cauldron right here. This is the theater district of ancient Rome. You are standing where the Romans came for entertainment, for politics, for spectacle. Walk slowly here. It's as good as you think it is. Here's a piece of trivia for your next dinner party. The world's first public museum isn't in Paris. It isn't in London. It isn't in New York. It's in Rome, on the Capitoline Hill, and it's been open to the public since 1471. That's over 550 years. The Capitoline museums sit on a piazza designed by Michelangelo. Not inspired by Michelangelo, designed by him. The equestrian statue in the center of the square, the bronze horse and rider, is the original Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome from 161 to 180 AD. This isn't a cast. This isn't a recreation. This is the actual statue that survived the fall of the empire because medieval Christians believed it depicted Constantine and chose not to melt it down. If they had been wrong about who it depicted, it would have been gone 1,000 years ago. There are rooms of original bronze sculptures, not museum quality reproductions, the originals. There are wood-carved doors in one of the galleries protected by plexiglass, not because they're fragile, but because they are so extraordinarily carved that the museum made the decision to frame them the way you'd frame a painting. Every panel is its own scene. The craftsmanship is something that simply does not translate into a photograph. There is a room with the head of Medusa, carved in marble. The detail is so precise, the expression so specific, that you understand immediately why the Greeks built an entire mythology around it. I am not on a tour, so I don't know if this is either a coffin or a Roman bath. Write in the comments below. Set me straight. a display of original Roman glass. Not a reproduction, not a replica, actual glass from Roman households and workshops sitting in cases. You can see the imperfections in the material, tiny bubbles, slight distortions in the surface. You are looking at what Romans used for their windows 2,000 years ago, and it is still perfectly intact. We spent 3 hours and we still didn't see everything. Near the end, I found a staircase that led to an entire floor of paintings. Neither of us had made it there. Lexi, who freely admits she's not typically a museum person, was scurrying through the rooms taking photos an hour and a half in. That is the most useful thing I can tell you about this place. It's 15 euros a person, the best value in Rome. I am at a loss for words. I cannot describe to you. There's so much in that museum.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. You could get lost there. You could spend a whole day, I think,
You literally,
in there.
It could take you an entire day.
I mean,
there's a whole other like second and third floor on the second building that we didn't go to because I may have not told him about the staircase that I found.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know.
She had such a great time. You're so patient.
I'm the most
and
patient
I actually
person.
went fast.
That
There's
was fast?
so much in
Oh
there.
my gosh, we were in there for like 3 hours.
Wow. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Gotta.
From the courtyard, hang a left. There's a garden up the hill behind the museum with a view of the city that most people miss entirely. Rome keeps rewarding you for going one step further than everyone else. That free Colosseum view we promised at the start? This is it. The Vittoriano, the Victor Emmanuel II monument is one of the most photographed structures in Rome. Everyone gets the exterior shot. Almost nobody goes up. Free entry, there's an elevator, and from the top, the Colosseum sits in the distance, framed by the rooftops of the city that grew up around it over 2,000 years. The Roman Forum spreads out directly below you. Look kids, there's Big Ben. Just kidding. The Tiber curves through the background. There is also, and it's easy to miss if you're just scanning the square, the tomb of the unknown soldier. The eternal flame in front of it has been burning continuously since 1921. Guards have rotated at that flame every hour since then, through 2 world wars, through every decade that has passed in the city and in the world since that year. Someone has been standing there. At night, when the tourists have cleared out and the square goes quiet, it's one of the most affecting things you can experience in Rome. Most people walk right past it to get a photo of the exterior. There's also a full museum inside, the history of the Italian Risorgimento for 18 euros. But even if you skip the museum and only take the elevator to the rooftop terrace, you've earned one of the best hours Rome has to offer. Go up. Most people don't. The ticket that gets you into the Colosseum also gets you into the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, planned for 2 hours minimum. Start with the door. On the south side of the Forum, past the arch, hang a right. There is a bronze door built in 307 AD. The original door, still in its original frame, 700 years later. And the lock still works. How amazing is that? This mechanism was installed when Constantine was emperor of Rome, before the empire split, before the fall, before 1,000 years of medieval history, before the Renaissance, before 2 world wars, and it still functions. The road running through the Forum is the Via Sacra. This is the sacred road. This is where Roman triumphal processions happened. The stones you're walking on are the same ones that Roman sandals walked on for 1,000 years of history. Don't forget to turn around when you're on Palatine Hill and look at these stone oaks frame the Colosseum. Absolutely gorgeous view. This is up by the Farnese Gardens. Just gorgeous. Wow. Higher on the hill, you'll find the remains of the Imperial Palace complex, the Emperor's Summer Reclining Room, a semicircular space where he would retreat during hotter months. Today, it's a set of walls and an outline, but the scale communicates something that no textbook quite manages to. These rooms were bigger than most modern apartments. This was the Emperor's casual retreat from the heat. There she is, checking out the remnants of the Farnese Gardens, which is really quite a little spectacle. They're certainly declined tremendously, but look at that, the water dripping down into the pool. Near the exit, there's a wall that's become an accidental tradition. Tour groups pass through here wearing wired audio earpieces, and for some reason, over months, then years, people started leaving them behind, sticking them to the wall. It now covers an entire section of wall. The Romans carved their names into monuments that have lasted 2,000 years. Modern tourists leave wired earbuds on a wall. Rome layers everything, including this. Free water spigots inside the Colosseum and on Palatine Hill. They look like small stone fountains, low to the ground, constant flow. Bring a water bottle and use them. Don't pay tourist prices for water that Rome gives away for free. By day 3, you've earned the right to slow down. The Spanish Steps are worth visiting. The steps themselves are the least interesting part. Take them up, feel the elevation, look back at the city from the top. Then turn around and look what's actually up there. Trinità dei Monti, the church at the summit, holds the foundational myth of Rome itself. Inside, the she-wolf, who nursed Romulus and Remus, the story that explains why this city exists, most people photograph the steps from below and never walk through the doors. From the church, walk along the property wall to the right. At the end of it sits Villa Medici. You guys know I like doors. This is on the way to Villa Medici. Look at this, look at those big hinges. Look at that. Awesome. The Medici, most powerful banking family in Renaissance Europe, the patrons who effectively funded Michelangelo and Leonardo. Their primary seat was in Florence, but they were wealthy enough to keep a Roman residence also. Villa Medici is now French property, and you can only visit with a guided tour, around 14 euros. Our daughter studied Medici in high school and just was like coming home raving about the Medicis. Even from the back wall, you feel the scale. When you come back down, hang a right into the streets that run alongside. This is the Aperitivo district, the stretch where Romans, not tourists, actual Romans, come between 2 and 4 in the afternoon to sit outside with a spritz and let the afternoon happen around them. There's high-end shops, cobblestones, balconies with laundry, places where you can eat lunch at a sidewalk table and watch the city move. In the evening in Rome, the air smells like pine resin from stone pines, and diesel from Vespas whirling by, and bread from restaurants opening for dinner. Nowhere else smells exactly like this. You'll recognize it the moment you arrive, and you'll recognize it again the moment you come back. The version of Rome that people fall in love with and can't entirely explain when they get home. Five things that don't make the guidebooks. Number 1, the Nasoni, cast iron drinking fountains, over 2,000 of them through Rome, running constantly. You can fill a water bottle from any of them. Free, clean, cold. 2,
pepperoni. I pay for you, don't worry. I give you the hour. California, your pizza, your fucking no, I'm joking. Your pizza is ready. Pepperoni. Try this pizza. If you like, you don't pay. No, if you don't like, you don't pay. But if you like, you pay double.
It's so hard to find in Italy.
I'd say it's 8.5, 9.
Wow, so good.
3, wear the right shoes. Rome is walkable, yes, but it is walkable on ancient, uneven cobblestones. Plan for 20,000 steps a day on surfaces that have been settling for 2,000 years. Comfortable soles are not optional. 4, Roma Termini is more than a train station. It's also a shopping mall, a food court, and one of the better places in the city to have an actual lunch without tourist markup. 5, stay both nights. Not for one more monument, for the version of the city that only shows up after the tour buses have left. The quiet alleys, the restaurants filling up with people who actually live there. The way Rome sounds when it's not performing for visitors. Here's what Rome teaches you, if you give it enough time. The city isn't a checklist. It's a conversation between the ancient and the modern, between the famous and the forgotten, between the surface that everyone photographs and the layer underneath that most people never find. That Capitolina Museum's open to the public for over 500 years. The bronze door from 307 AD, whose lock still works. The theater district that 2 millennia of history simply built on top of instead of tearing down. The rooftop view that's free while the tour below charges you 20 euros. You now know where to look. Rome asks something of you. It asks you to slow down, look closer, and accept that everything you're standing on was built by someone who believed it would last forever and was right. Most cities give you a good time. Rome gives you perspective. That's worth the flight. The companion to this video covers everything we got wrong. The transit mistakes, the Vatican voucher that wasn't actually a ticket, the Roma pass we had to buy twice, and why stacking the Vatican and the Colosseum in the same day is the biggest rookie mistake you can make. All the expensive lessons, documented, so you don't have to learn them yourself. Link is right here. Watch that one next.